Hey everyone, and welcome. Every time you go out to eat, you're putting your trust in that kitchen. But what's really going on back there to make sure that trust is earned? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a professional food safety audit and see exactly what it takes to protect every single meal you eat. Have you ever actually wondered what's happening behind those swinging kitchen doors? I mean, it's way more than just chefs working their magic. It's a whole complex safety system, and today we're going to see that exact system get put to the test. And that system is called HACCP. It stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points. Now, let's break that down. Hazard analysis. That's all about looking ahead and trying to figure out every single thing that could possibly go wrong. And critical control points, those are the specific moments where you can step in and actually prevent those problems. It's all about stopping issues before they can even start. So for our deep dive, we're stepping inside a teaching hotel. This is where the next generation of hospitality pros are learning the ropes. We're going to follow Mark. He's the internal auditor as he inspects the fresh food department. And we'll also meet Sarah, a key member of the team who's on the front lines every day. Now, an audit like this is super detailed, but Mark isn't just wandering around aimlessly. He is zeroing in on 3 core pillars of food safety. These are the spots where things are most likely to go wrong and where control is just absolutely crucial. So, here's Mark's game plan. First, temperature management. That's your #1 defense against nasty bacteria. Second, cleaning and hygiene, pretty much the foundation of a safe kitchen. And third, allergen management, which can literally be a matter of life and death. Let's see how the kitchen's rules stack up against reality. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because every kitchen has a rule book, a protocol. But what actually happens when the orders are flying in and things get chaotic? This audit is all about comparing the official plan to what's happening on the ground, day in and day out. First up, temperature checks. The rule is simple. Log the temperatures of all the fridges and freezers, consistently. But right away, Mark spots a little gap. The logs are all done by hand, and, when service gets crazy, an entry gets missed here and there. And here's what's so telling about Mark's perspective. He doesn't see this as someone's fault. He sees a weakness in the system. Relying on a person to remember to write something down just opens the door to human error. His mind immediately jumps to a solution. Let's automate it. And then you get the reality check from Sarah, who's right there in the middle of it all. It's not about not caring, it's about the very real pressures of a busy kitchen. Her honesty just highlights why a system needs to be strong enough to work even when things are at their most hectic. We see a really similar story when Mark moves on to the cleaning protocols. The hotel has a fantastic system with these super detailed checklists for everything. But just like the temperature logs, he finds that tiny but crucial gap. The final step, just ticking the box, sometimes gets forgotten in the day-to-day grind. Mark's observation here is so key. The plan itself is solid, but the verification, that final proof that the plan was followed, that's what needs to be tightened up. That little check mark is what closes the loop and creates accountability. And Sarah completely owns it. She says, sometimes you just get into a rhythm and you do the task, but you forget to actually log it. It's a perfect example of how even the most dedicated employees need systems that back them up and prevent simple oversights. Okay, this last point from the audit covers what is probably the most immediate danger in any kitchen: allergens. The rule here is totally non-negotiable. You have to have strict separation to prevent cross-contamination. What Mark finds is that while the team knows the rules, the actual physical practice could be just a little bit better. Mark's point here is so crucial. An allergen list is just a piece of paper. Real safety comes from physical actions. It's all about making sure the tools and spaces used for allergenic ingredients never cross paths with others. That practical separation has to be perfect, every single time. I really like Sarah's response here. It shows a real commitment to getting better. She recognizes that this isn't just about a quick fix. It's about building a stronger, more aware culture throughout the entire team for the long haul. So the audit did its job and found these gaps, but the work doesn't stop there, not at all. The real goal isn't just about finding problems, it's about building a clear path forward. So now we get to see how Mark and Sarah work together to turn these findings into real, actionable improvements. And here they are, plain and simple. First, bring in automation for temperature logging to take human error out of the equation. Second, create a tougher verification process for those cleaning schedules. And third, really tighten up the physical procedures for keeping allergens separate. See? These aren't just vague ideas, they're specific, targeted fixes. So, what we've really just seen is more than just an inspection. It's a snapshot of a living, breathing process. It's this recognition that, perfection isn't really the goal, but constant improvement absolutely is. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway. An audit isn't a test you pass or fail. It's a collaborative tool, an opportunity to learn. Think of it like a regular health checkup for the kitchen's safety system, making sure it stays strong and effective to protect all of us. So the next time you're out enjoying a meal, you can feel a little more confident about what's going on behind the scenes. People like Mark and Sarah are part of this constant cycle of checking in and getting better. It kind of makes you wonder about this whole invisible world of checks and balances quietly working to ensure our safety day after day, doesn't it?